one, sometimes not knowing what to say, which is linked to number two, which is like, I don't feel like sometimes I have something to say. I don't feel like people want to hear, there is anybody who would like to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third one would be like thinking, oh, that will make a great post or a great whatever, but then I just don't do it because I'm not into the habit of like taking pictures all the time or you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah, the three points.
pictures. We don't necessarily need pictures to take up space. There are plenty of people that just use words and just use word posts, yet
Sure.
still create mass amounts in your business. I think the thing that I want to ask you so that we can take something tangible away from this experience is, what do you really want to say? If you felt like you could just be uncensored, what do you really want to say? What do you really want to vocalize?
Hmm.
And I think the better question, because what I feel right now is there's a little bit of questioning around who you are and the service that you want to create. It's like you know
Mm.
this, but you're struggling to articulate it into the physical words of, well, who am I? And how am I going to let my audience know who I am? And who do I serve? And how am I going to let them know the transition that I take them through? So maybe we should sit there and break that down a little bit deeper, because once you know who
Mhm.
you are and how you serve, you can be
Yes.
full body in the confidence. So looking
Yes.
at who you are, describe all parts of yourself. This is not about placing yourself in a box. Who are you in all different parts of your gifts, your skill set?
Yes. Okay. Well, one of the big things is I'm a single mom of five, right? So that's a big part of my personality. Um, Sometimes I forget, but I feel like, being brave because just moving with five kids, really in the unknown. And I did that twice, right? When I came to the US 20 years ago, and now when I'm moving back. Um, I follow inspiration. Um, I have this dual culture of French and American now. My dad is from Cambodia too, so mix here. I'm very practical because again, being with five kids, you have to be practical and at the same time very like I like all the galactic stuff and like uh, you know I don't even know how what word to use, but esoteric, all of this. I love that. So I have
Mhm.
those two. Um, I I have degrees in business and stuff, but I also have lots of certification in more like healing. So I feel like lately I've been coming more and more into the healer thing. For a long time, I was denying it. I was like, no, I'm not that. But then today, I really feel it's a big part of who I am. I feel like there are some gifts there that I have not explored yet. Um, People tend to feel like I can hold the space for them. I'm non-judgmental, so usually they allow themselves to tell me things and stuff that to go deeper maybe than they would have with somebody else. That's something I didn't know about myself, but I had a few people mentioning it, and then um, I don't know. There are probably a lot of things, but I'm very open-minded.
Mhm.
I love looking at things, from different angles. Um,
So
Tend to be
how does this statement feel? I am a multidimensional healer who activates you into your fullest potential while seeing the depth of your soul and creating a practical bridge to change your reality. How does that feel?
that feels good, but very bold too.
Okay, let's speak about the boldness. What is it about the
Yeah.
boldness of that that scares you?
So, I think it's what goes with the self-doubt and lack of confidence is always wondering, like, can I deliver that?
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know, um,
And I feel
that's a,
sometimes in our business, and not even sometimes, like all the time in our business, when we're stretching into a new identity, we have to be bold to make that identity make sense. Meaning
mm,
that when I came into my business, I wasn't necessarily the most expressive, loudest, boldest, opinionated person, but I had to allow myself to say, I'm going to bring that version of me to the forefront because I understand who I desire to be as a businesswoman and as Rosie Victoria. And I'm going to craft this reality until I normalize it. So me taking bold moves in, I'm going to take my seat at the table. I'm going to show up for who I get to be. I'm going to allow myself to be expressive right now. I'm going to do the things and the actions. It was part of me crafting an identity and normalizing an identity because I had to start moving in the way until the identity became real. And what I'm seeing right now is you're craving, feeling that depth of I'm a business owner and I'm fully confident with everything that I bring to the surface. But you're struggling to hold that confidence. And the reason behind that is because what you're craving is the ability to feel magnetic. However, feeling magnetic comes through the movement and the boldness of saying, this is who I am. I'm going to be outwardly loud about this. I'm going to showcase this. I'm going to share this. I'm going to hold the depth of this. I'm going to let you see me, feel me, and witness me as this person. And I'm also going to normalize myself as this person until it just makes sense. Because the truth is, you're never going to feel bold enough until you allow yourself to feel bold enough. Right now, it's about giving yourself permission to say, I am going to be bold enough. I'm going to step into this identity. I'm the business owner who can hold this right now. I'm the woman, the healer that can hold this right now. I'm the multidimensional healer who creates this practical edge because I get how to be practical because that's something that I do every single day in my life. And you're going to claim the confidence before it makes sense in a way that allows your body to catch up. And I truly believe that our energy goes first and the logical catches up, meaning you have to play in the energy that you're ready for and your reality will catch up. Your business will catch up. Everything will catch up to speed because you're deciding who you get to be in this moment.
And you know, Rosie, I think also one of the things that is holding me back with that is because I have not really worked yet in that, you know, with people. I've done, you know, like practice session. I've worked with some friends and they loved it, but I don't have like a real tangible, like, you know, 10 people going, you know, working with me and getting like those results. You see what I mean? So that's where I don't have the evidence yet fully. I have a little of it, but not, you see what I mean?
Now, do you believe in what you sell? And what I mean by
Yes.
that is, do you feel fully embodied in the, I've gone through this journey of change, so I know that this works.
Yes, I do. I do. Yes.
And because you've been through it, you've seen the shifts in your life, you know that this works. You've learned
Yes.
this, you know that it works, you've embodied this, you know that it works. And if it works for you, why is it not going to work for them? Because at some point in this journey, you had to mentor yourself and take yourself through a journey of reframing and shifting to get to this point. And you are your biggest testimony right now. You don't need hundreds of clients to tell you that you are powerful because you've already made shifts and changes in your own life. But you've never given yourself permission to sit there and say, do you know what? This works. And I have been my best own client. And yes, you're still evolving and changing and growing because we all are in this human life. But you've already got the confirmation that this works. It's about you giving yourself permission to know that it works and to hold that energy and that communication now moving forward.
Okay. And can I add, you know, with because last time when we met, I think it was in February or something like that, the idea that was coming through was like Mystic Mother movement. And the idea was helping moms, you know, like balance, you know, like giving them self permission to like, you know, how to balance your devotion to your life purpose, to yourself, to your mission and stuff. And the idea was to help, you know, mom like find their purpose and live it and, you know, be okay with that. But with the changes I've been going through for the past few months, again, with this Kundalini activation thing, what was coming through is more like helping other, and I put that in my little thing, other healer and light workers to fully, you know, to find their purpose and to be able to like live from it, you know, like monetize it too. But then I stopped myself because I'm like, well, I'm still not making some money. So how can I, you know, you see what I mean?
Yeah. And I get this because then we sit there in this fear of, well, is what I'm selling really working if I'm not experiencing it for myself? So what is it going to take for you to experience it for yourself? And the reason why I ask this is you'll see that it's a double-ended energy of you can't grow and scale your business until you take that bold, radical move. So right
Yes.
now, again, you are your best own client. What would you be telling your
Yeah.
client that you wanted to get out there and create for themselves? You'd be telling them to, hey, be bold, be courageous, step into the energy, step into the identity. And right now, you need to give yourself permission to step into the identity and to hold that truth and to hold that communication.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And I was really just before coming into the call today, I was thinking it's really the identity piece that's holding me back at the moment. I've done, a lot of healing and then all of that. Now it's not bad. It's really like being, okay, I'm doing this and that's who I am now.
Ooh, so I have a question. You say that it's your identity of who you are right now holding you back, and we've already touched on this slightly. But the thing that I want to ask you is, what does your current identity, how does it serve you? Because whenever we're struggling to let go of an
Yes.
identity,
Hmm.
there's always a
Yes.
reason why it's serving us and where it's adding purpose to us. And once we find that, we can break through that and we can dissolve that limitation.
Hmm. Well, there is part of it where it's like, that's all I've known, right? I've always like had a little struggle with, money and stuff. Although, you know what? I had a few years, I think I mentioned that to you, where I used to own a French bakery cafe.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a few years where we were doing good, like 500,000 a year.
Yeah.
Um, so I experienced something different too, but still, it was still a struggle, Yeah, the struggle. I think it's struggle is a big piece of it.
Mm-hmm.
And um, but if I okay, so what it's giving me, almost like a few things, like almost like how do we say it? Like the diversion, like not diversion, what's the word? Like well, one could be entertainment, like life is,
Mm-hmm.
like so it's entertaining. Um, two, it's like because it bring your focus to struggle, keeps you from really doing what you really desire, right? So it's
And it's almost like a self-protection because
yeah.
by thinking that money's going to come in, but it's always going to be a struggle. And even when you have money, it's going to be taken away from you. And even when a business is doing well, then you're going to lose it. What you've done is you've programmed yourself to believe that it's going to be a struggle. So then you've said to yourself, well, I might as well struggle not trying because that feels more rewarding than trying and being hurt when it doesn't work out. And it's almost as if you're punishing yourself before it happens because you're scared to be vulnerable when it doesn't work out. And the thing about business is we have to let go of this resistance and punishing ourselves when things don't work out the way that anticipated. Because regardless of who we are and what business we're in, there's always going to be lower months. There's always going to be times when things don't work out. There's always going to be lessons to be learned. But it's about not defining ourselves through those moments that really creates these rapid shifts for us. And when you can sit there and say, do you know what? Yeah, I lost a business, but also like it does not define me. Next time I'm going to come in and I'm going to do things differently and I'm going to pivot things and I'm going to change things. I'm going to learn what went wrong so that I can scale things in a